When a police officer pulls you over and you drive into your own driveway, what will the police do?
Happened to us in Perth, Western Australia years ago. We had dined at a Mexican restaurant in the city with an excellent reputation. The food had seemed okay and there was lots of it. However, something about his food plainly offended my then hubby. About 3/4 of the way home, we were on a motorbike. I was riding pillion. He turned to me and exclaimed that his guts felt bad. I couldn't drive our large bike, so had little alternative other than to hang on while he upped the speed. Way back then, we're talking late 1970s, Perth was still like a large country town rather than a cosmopolitan city. Hence there were no public facilities available. Not even petrol stations were open beyond 10 p.m. unless you were lucky enough to find the one, in a huge area, that was rostered on. So it was a race to get home. A police cruiser with lights and sirens on follows us just a few blocks from our house. He yells at me, "Oh crap, I can't stop," and never was a truer word said. He pulls into the driveway. I hastily jump off and he barely has the strength to put it on its side stand. Something we hardly ever did with that bike because it was hefty and we normally used the center stand, before bolting for the front door. "Stop!" yells the police. One even had a gun, extremely rare back then. "Quick, round the back, he's getting away." "No, he's not, he's sick," I cried out in fear. My teacher voice made that loud enough for the neighborhood to hear, not just the cops. The others stormed in through the open front door and went through the home, throwing open doors and checking rooms, while my policeman and I chased after them. One grabbed me, so at least he had me for a prize. "I wouldn't go in there if I were you," I cried, but too late. They had, and one cop came out retching. In addition to having explosive Technicolor diarrhea that had gotten through his jeans and was now adorning the white walls, my poor husband was kneeling on the floor, throwing up into the toilet bowl. And the smell, oh my God, it's worse than the worst cat poop, which says a lot because one of our cats has an intestinal issue. The non-retching policeman stopped us and said, "It's okay, he's not going anywhere in a hurry." Whereupon he bravely stayed in the sleepout where the toilet and the back door opened from, and my policeman and I withdrew to the lounge room at the other end of the house. The retcher walked outside for some much-needed fresh air. I informed him where we were when he felt sick, where we had eaten, which he took great notice of, and that everything had seemed okay when we had left. That we'd looked out for any public restrooms but there weren't any, and he had to accept we were right. In the end they reprimanded us for speeding but said they understood the necessity. They apologized for frightening me and then went, leaving me to clean up the god-awful mess. Gee, thanks guys, you could have hung around a touch longer. So yes, in Australia neither your driveway or your house renders you immune from a police pursuit. Thankfully there was not a culture of shoot first and ask questions second here. Still isn't a huge problem, though there have been a few police shootings, and all was well in the end. Took him a few of days to feel good again though, and no surprise, we never ate there again. The restaurant persisted for a number of years, so we must have just been unlucky.